Welcome to the Boujee Healed Diva Podcast, the BHD. I am here with some beautiful women who are Legend Mastermind leaders, and they all have a different role when it comes to 5D, 3D, ascension, really anchoring in light in this world today. So I would love for each of you to introduce yourselves, what you do, what your purpose on this world in this world is, and then we're gonna just start talking. Ready? Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go. I'm Kimber Norquist. I am the Upleveling Phoenix. I'm a Grand Master of Goddess Alchemy, Money Reiki, and life coaching, as well as an Akashic Records Karmic healer.
I am Tasha Christy. I am the copy queen. I am an intuitive copywriter and messaging expert. I believe that I'm here to really help light leaders, spiritual alchemists, all the magical people in the world really be seen, heard, recognized for their brilliance.
I'm Jessica Radiance, and I am a sound alchemist. And I am the world's premier sound healer for helping you really bypass your conscious thoughts to connect with your body on a very intuitive level. And the reason that this is important is because that's how we connect with our heart.
Okay, now let's go. Let's have this conversation with us. So I loved because each of you have different roles, right? And we all know that things feel a little different. Can we admit that? Things feel different in the world today. And especially if you're watching this is post November 6th craziness that we had go on in, the US with the election and intuitions and intuitives and the 4 a.m. club and all of that waking up. And we all know that we've been put on the ascension fast track.
Yes.
So the world and the energies of the world are really like, you can feel the separation between, for lack of a better word, dark and light, right? You can feel the separation between lower density frequencies of control and patriarchal systems and those kind of things from expansion, from joy, from where we know we're meant to go. Mm-hmm. And all of us have played a specific role in what I call anchoring in the light. We all have a different role to play. And so I would love to hear your experience as far as like, what have you been doing post that time period? Because there's a lot of craziness going on in the news, a lot of different things that are happening that most of us aren't paying attention to, but some of the audience may be and getting caught up in that, and what you as an ascension anchor are doing so that you don't get caught up in all the craziness and you still can continue to walk step by step and lead your audiences, lead your people, create content the way you need to create without all the noise. Mm-hmm. So who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. One of the main things that I've been doing, besides not tuning into the news, to just every now and again popping on to CNN, seeing what the big headlines are, and then stepping out of it, because there is so much out there, and what we consume dictates how we view things, how we get trapped into the energetic intentions behind some of these headlines, behind some of what's going on. I mean, on some level, we need to be aware. But if we are spending so much time scrolling and just waiting for that next hit of what else is happening, we're caught up in the cycle that they want us to be in. And the best way, after refusing to get stuck in that loop by overconsumption of the news, is grounding, journaling, and really connecting in with one's heart and knowing who we are, and that we can be separate from everything else that's going on. We don't have to be a part of that collective energy, and just cutting cords, and sending all that energy back to the sender. And if it's a low vibration for myself, I'm like, okay, if I have these thoughts that are just not a high frequency, they are just getting me into a tailspin, I'm sending them to the light. I'm sending to the goddess, just please transmute this. I do not want it. And I'm doing that every day and being very conscious of not my monkey, not my circus. It's not the energy I want to be in, and being deliberate in the choice, because we do have a choice whether or not to consume, whether or not to be a part of that chaos, or when to stand back and observe it and go, what's really going on here? And from that point, what can we do to affect change versus being caught up in the riptide of chaos?
What I heard also you say is that you're consciously consuming instead of just not, consuming half-heartedly, because what you half-heartedly consume consumes you.
Yeah.
But what you consciously consume, you get to be the observer, right?
Yes.
Instead of the person who is being eaten alive by it. And it's very important, especially when it comes to mainstream media, because, when you have mainstream media that could feel like state-sponsored media, they're only showing you what they want to show. You've got to look at it in a way that it's like, what is my heart saying about this versus like what is true and what is filtered, right? And so when you can see and you're aware and you get to say, okay, what does my heart say about this? You can walk through it in a more powerful manner versus being consumed by it, right? And falling into the fear, falling into this despair, falling into that what makes you more manipulated, right? Easily manipulated. And you decided you're not going to be easily manipulated.
Exactly.
I love that. Anyone else want to add something to that?
I agree.
So what are you?
It's not always easy though, like to consciously not get caught up in the rhetoric and the,
What if I love, that's why I brought so many different points of view. So with you, Tasha, what you normally do is you're like TikTok, right? And you're looking at it. What if you decided, especially as a light inker and somebody who's an ascension inker, somebody who's meant to create from heart, create from, like, you're supposed to take other people's words from their soul and put it back to them.
Yeah.
What if you knew that I'm not choosing to get caught up. The things that I might be triggered by or the things that might come up are just things that I get to heal. So for you, maybe it is important for you to look at these things, but you have to consciously decide, oh my God, I'm triggered by this. This is, oh, yay, I'm triggered by this. Now I get to heal this, or I get to look at this differently, or I get to be the one who transmute this for my generation and for this lifetime, for my ancestors, for that. How exciting is that, right? And so, because I don't want anyone who's watching or listening to be like, oh, well, I did get caught up in this, and I got caught up in the things. Maybe that was your intention as your soul to get caught up, but to consciously say, oh, I get this. I had to look at this so that I could heal something.
Yeah.
So recently, and at the time of this recording, I was watching something and it was like, oh, we're getting rid of this and this. And so we're taking out, for example, it was a discussion of the Tuskegee Airmen, and they were getting rid of a discussion of women pilots in World War II because it was like, oh, that's discriminatory against non-Tuskegee Airmen and non-men, right? So it was a discrimination against white men. And so, for lack of a better word. And so it broke my heart because I remember how powerful those Tuskegee Airmen were and what their effect was on World War II. And then what these women pilots were, the effect on world. I was like, oh my God, they're trying to rip away our history, right? And so I didn't make myself bad for looking at it like, bad you, bad girl, bad. Who are you to look at that? No, I said, oh, I'm crying because of this, or I'm feeling so torn up about this because this is something that I get to heal. And what I got to heal was they can't take that away. No, it's just American. Like, it's just history. Like, you can't take it out of history because it already happened and it's already fact. So I decided that this isn't going to affect me that way because it had affected generations or ancestors in a certain way that they felt like they were taken away from homeland, or maybe they were brought into blah, blah, blah. So when I healed this, guess what? The next day they decided, oh, we're going to continue to talk about this. And I'm not saying it's just me, but there was a collective consciousness of what? No, we're not doing this. We're not allowing this to happen. And it shifted. And so I don't want you to feel like, you getting caught up is a bad thing. Maybe it's just the way you get to remember your power quicker and then decide to heal whatever you feel like you're caught up in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I take it upon myself to take responsibility, since I am the wordsmith, and I feel like I'm a person that people look to for, like, what does she think about this, or like her opinions about stuff. I feel like I need to take responsibility for putting messages out there that make the world a better place, rather than adding to the anger, the confusion, the division, stuff like that. So that's kind of what I want to do, because like during, like, for 2020, remember all that turmoil and stuff that happened. What I did during that time was I deepened my compassion, because in the beginning of the situation, I was angry, which may have been justifiable, but I realized at a certain point that it wasn't helping.
Right.
And so what I did was really try to extend my understanding, and acceptance of people. And I feel like that, for me, like, it honestly, it really opened up my business, because a lot of people started coming to me because they saw how I was responding and handling different things and answering questions. And it wasn't from a place of love, because that's the only way you can fight hate and ignorance, is through love. Like that's it. Hate and ignorance as a response is not gonna stop anything.
Wait, so in the commercial break, can I say this woman said, I'm not a light worker, I do copywriting. Just even the fact that you decided to come from a space of love.
Yeah.
Light working isn't just about our careers. It's not just about our businesses. A lot of us made this our business, and so we can expand it big. But you just answering comments and coming from a space of compassion and love, even though empathy, what is the next sin? I forgot. We just saw something where they said empathy was a sin. So you decided to come from that space is evidence that you came on this earth to anchor in the light. You are an ascension anchor. And so anyone that's listening to this and says, well, am I a light worker? Am I ascension worker? Am I like an ascension anchor? I want you to just say, wow, what do I want to do? Do I want to make this world a better place? Do I want to impact people in a positive way? And if the answer is yes, you are. And even if it's influencing your family and by your actions, by you doing the inner work, you came here to anchor in life.
Yeah.
I was to add to that, even if it's your own desire to better yourself, it doesn't even have to be about family or anything outside of the community. And what I'm going to say is, just because we're in an intellectual format right now, this is part of what happens is our logical mind can convince us of anything, which is part of why the fear tactics work. Because, I can see where that point of view would come from. So the really important thing that I wanted to follow up on is just that wherever you are on your path and you're asking the questions and you're feeling something, you're here listening to this and engaging and you're exploring, wherever you're at on your journey is never wrong. That's the other thing. Because when these kind of shifts happened 8 years ago, I was not in a place where I handled that very well at all. And the fear consumed me to a point where I did not want to be here. And that changed the trajectory of my life. And at the time, I could not have understood what that would have meant. But it has brought me to the point now where literally everything broke down. And the thing that taught me is the breakdown is scary, yes, but there's so much in it. It's the whole concept of your obstacles have your gifts with them, which is the thing you'll hear about. Like, you have to go into the cave to get the light. You have to go through it to overcome it. it's that same concept. And until you live it, it's really hard to understand what that will feel like. So in these moments of fear, when we feel overwhelmed and we feel like I really don't know from a logical perspective, that is your first sign that you need to find something that you can do that will bring you into your heart. Whatever you do, and coming from your heart is sometimes a very confusing phrase also, because it gets thrown around a lot without more explicit understandings. In my work, what I've come to find that mean is that anytime you find that you have a smile on your face, that it could be hearing a child laugh, it could be watching something that is funny, it could be recalling an old memory that lights you up, it could be connecting with nature, feeling your body, celebrating achievements. And the more that you can learn to do that and focus on that, the more you will start to see that all of the fear and all of the things that feel heavy really are illusions.
Those are our parakeets. Our parakeets have been showing up all weekend for Jessica every time she opens her mouth.
Yeah.
And it was 5 of them. And so they were like, hi, girl. Yes. Say go ahead.
I can't quite see.
I think they're on the
Telephone, the light pole thing.
yeah.
How many? 4?
It was 4. It was 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 of them, and one of them flew away. So they're going to go get some more friends
Okay.
to bring them back. So, oh, I love that. What I love about what you said is one of the things that is super important when I think about right now, and I think about anchoring in the light, anchoring in. There's a big piece about all the work that we do, ascension anchors. We kind of are up here, right? But what's really needed during this time is anchoring our bodies into this earth, like anchoring our bodies. And when you anchor in like your body, right, grounding not just the earth, but grounding your body into Gaia, into the earth, that's when you can feel that the fear isn't real, right? And so like we just said, there's like, even in the midst of you're hearing something, maybe there's some psychological operation and there's a whole bunch of bots telling you this is the way it is. And you get to say, interesting. Don't make yourself wrong because you get caught up, but just say, let me ground into my body. And if you feel it and this information feels really heavy and it feels like, it's not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. It is an illusion. It is a lie. It is not true. And so you get to just say, that's interesting that this feels heavy in my body. Let me breathe. And let me say, this isn't true. This isn't true for me. This isn't accurate. And I don't know what is true. Maybe you don't know what's true right now in this moment. And then you can go into and just really come back to that small moment of something that can make you smile, something that can bring you back to, and what I love to do is bring you back to neutrality at first. So if you come back to neutrality, like, you know what, this isn't true. And it feels untrue with my body because it feels heavy. So what feels lighter in this moment? And if hearing the parakeet singing or just walking and being so excited about the sky and the sun makes you feel lighter, then you get to say, that's what's true. And I don't need to know what's true about this scenario, this circumstance right now. And that is so important when it comes to walking through chaos and existing in the frequency of, I'm going to be okay. And everything will be okay, even if I don't know how right now, because that's the energy we need to be in right now.
I would take that one step further and say that if you can, everything is okay. The present moment is like so powerful.
Yep. Everything happens in the present moment, right? We create in this present moment, and knowing that it is, even though, right, even despite what it looks like, everything is okay. That's your power. But you can't feel that when you're not grounded in your body, when you're all in your head, and when you're doing the what if negatives, and you're doing the what if this goes crazy? What else is this person going to do? What else is this person going to? All of that is of not concern of me. what do I say? It is what it is. Now what?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It is what it is. Now what? And when you can say it is what it is, now what do I want?
Mm-hmm.
And get your focus, like you were
Yeah.
saying, focus on where I want to go with this. Focus forward. That's where the power is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Each one of you has a gift. And all of those gifts anchor in so much light into this world. And so what advice do you have for someone who has been on the spiritual journey? They know, like these Boujee Healed Divas, they know, like they've been doing this manifestation work. They've been doing this for a long time. What advice do you have for them that is going to like play a role in them anchoring in this light right now into the world?
Hmm.
Who wants to go first?
My advice would be to focus daily on, if you're feeling negative, at least coming back to neutral. It may not be possible to get out of neutral to get to a more positive feeling, but at least work on getting out of neutral, whether it's through tapping, journaling, doing yoga or other somatics. Focus on taking care of yourself and knowing that the longer you stay in those emotions, the stickier they are.
Mhm.
And if you can clean up your energy daily by getting into neutral, you're going from, say, like a -2 or 3 to 0.
Mhm.
Even if it's just that cycle before you can get from 0 to 3, versus suddenly being -6, -9, -12, and you're really spiraling downwards. If just daily being conscious of what you're consuming and where your energy is at, that will do a lot for then getting you into a place of, okay, I'm at a 3. I like being at a 3. I'm going to, consciously choose what I'm feeling and consciously, okay, can I get to a 4? Oh, today is a 4. And oh, something happened and now it's a 5. And getting very familiar with what those feelings are and knowing that you can ground those in and you can choose your reality. You can choose what you want to feel instead of being at the mercy of somebody else. Do not give away your power.
Do not give away your power.
Do not give away your power.
And you can hire Kimber
Because
for a Reiki session.
yes, yeah, I did that. I did that in the worst way. And I had to learn a big flip, flop, flap, slap from the universe about that. So
Yeah. No,
the more that you can stay in your power and not give it away to what's going on outside of you, no matter what you may be seeing, you then become the observer. You pull yourself out of it and you can then turn the dial. You can choose something different. You can't do that as easily when you're in the middle of it.
I love that. I love that. And like I said, if you need help doing that, Kimber is a Reiki genius, master, Reiki genius. And because sometimes you might need someone to help reframe for you, and she's a genius at doing
Thank you.
that.
Because we can all do healing, but there's a point at which being able to have somebody else help you with it, like you cut yourself, you can bandage the leg. You need brain surgery, you can't do that for yourself.
That's true.
That's where you allow somebody else to help support you through it with the gifts that they have to be able to do what you can't. Help, like shorten those timelines to help jump,
Yeah.
Help you.
like Jessica does.
Jump. Who's next? I'm gonna give the rose gold flip flop to the next person. Who wants to speak next? Okay.
When I was thinking about the most important thing, or one of the most important things, it's like curating your social media feed. Like, what's your experience like? What does it feel like when you go online? Because a lot of times people are like, oh, I hate, or I need to take social media breaks, which is nothing wrong with that if you want to take social media breaks. But a lot of times people are taking social media breaks because the boundaries that they have for what's on their feed, what they're allowing themselves to be exposed to, you know, how they are allowing people to come into their space and respond to whatever it is they're posting. It's just outrageous. So the experience isn't great. So that and instead of like setting the boundaries and deciding, okay, well, if I'm going to be on here, especially if you're an online entrepreneur and you need to be on daily marketing your business, like it's really important to decide, okay, this is the experience that I want when I come on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or wherever, you know, you do your business, and curating your feed to match the experiences that you desire, as opposed to, okay, well, this is just what it is. And instead of doing something about it, I'm just gonna disappear for 2 weeks, you know? And so I think that's really important. And like recently I've decided that, you know, as much as I like certain people, I don't really want to follow people who are like doom and gloom. Like everything is like, oh my God, this bad thing is happening and this is what's coming up next and the world is ending, and I can't,
Right.
because that keeps me in a state of panic and oh my God, like what are we gonna do kind of thing. So I give you the courage and the permission to unfriend,
Snooze, unfriend.
or you can unfollow.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want to permanently disconnect from the person, you can just unfollow them. That way you don't see, I'll take a 30-day break or something. That way you don't have to see their content.
Yeah. No, I
You
love
know.
that. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
The Rose Gold Flip Flop test. Oh, they're coming back. They're coming back. They're waiting for you. Oh, yeah, they're like, hey, it's back. They're waiting.
There you go.
The parakeets are back. Okay, go.
I really no. So Tasha was just talking about the permission and the courage and all of that. And the thing that was coming to mind for me is also giving yourself permission to not know the answers. Like some of the biggest hangups and some of the biggest ways that we get caught, I think, in these problems is because we are thinking that we have to know. We have to know the right way. We have to know a solution. We have to know what to do. The only thing that we really have to know is ourselves. We don't have to know a solution. We don't have to know any of those details. But beyond that, what I really want to say is actually not in a logical language. So since the parakeets came back,
Yeah.
cute. I'm actually going to do a little bit of what people call light language, because this will help bypass a lot of our thinking centers. And this is what I specialize in. Our thoughts are amazing. And until we learn how to actually curate and cultivate our thoughts in such a way that it benefits us and that we can stand in our power as we're facing all of the stuff that's out there, it's helpful to have something that comes in and just really anchors into the cells.
Yes.
So Nanakain Tashin Narakahum Marakaya Tatahu Iti Turakahum Marakai Tatai Tuaka Sunokohum Marakai Tati Waya Unitia Tai Durakati Waya Tatai Narakatuhum Marakita Yata Narakatia Tata Huyakataya Maradai Tetia.
Yes. I love that. Ah. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You notice how they got quiet?
Yes. The parakeets are like, "Mm." What I was hearing as you were speaking in the light language was, everyone that's listening to this podcast, you have been called into a greater greater purpose. And that greater purpose is your own healing, like your own cleaning your side of the street, your own doing what you are meant to do. And so I love that everyone gave you ways to do that. So what you are being called to do is when stuff comes up, not if it comes up, is to clean your own side of the street. Instead of pointing outside of you, look within and say, oh, this is triggering me, this is upsetting me, or this is activating me. Interesting. What do I choose to do with that? How do I choose to allow, how do I choose to walk forward with that? And the parakeets are like, amen. And so, even if you're, like we said, if you're going through something and you need help, like, especially the people that are here and they're maybe saying, okay, my business was doing well, but I feel like it's slowing down, and you need money Reiki sessions, and you need to remember that you are the creator. You call Kimber. If you are a social media, like you have a business and you are meant to be writing written word and you're like, I have no idea what to say, you call Tasha, right? Because Tasha is the person who is the copy wordsmith. She is the person that is going to help you get your words out, because a lot of times you might be afraid to say what you really want to say. Some of you may be afraid to have this conversation here because there's so much possible opposition to what we are saying right now. When we are saying all is welcome, we aren't judging anyone. It doesn't matter what you did or what you are doing or what you believe in and what you don't. There's love is always the answer, and we're always here. And then lastly, if you are sitting here and you are wondering like how to open your voice and how to say what you need to say, not written, but really scared to say what you really want to say, Jessica is the sound frequency genius, the world's best sound healer, and she just plays these music with the flutes that just allow you to feel so connected to your body and so connected to the earth, but also it helps you to travel astrally. I mean, it's just too many amazing things that she does, but she also has a gift with allowing you to feel safe to say whatever you need to say to her, that the parakeets fly in when she's speaking. So
yeah,
I know that this world may feel chaotic, and it may feel crazy, especially when you're like, I've been placed on this earth to do some of this stuff, and I'm afraid to say what I want to say, or I don't even know what to say because there's so much. And I want you to know that it is a safe world. You are being expected to go through this and walk yourself through it. So I am opening up the floor to give you guys one closing thing. I want you please to share where people can find you, but also anything else that you want to share before we close this out today. Who wants to go first? We got the rose gold flip flop.
Well, I just want to, I guess, reiterate a message I put out the other day, that it's not over till it's over. Like, things are just beginning. Things, I know they look scary now and they look really chaotic, but I believe that it's not over.
It's right.
And so keep the faith. Like, don't let the overwhelming narrative of like doom and gloom, like I talked about before, make you feel hopeless. Like there's nothing you can do. Like, we are powerful individually and as a collective.
And hope is an inside job.
Yeah.
yes,
Hope is an inside job. Happiness is an inside job. Appreciation is an inside job. Everything is an inside job.
Yep, exactly. And you can find me mostly on Facebook, Tasha Christy. That's my name. And yeah, I'm also on Instagram. I'm not as active on Instagram, but if you message me on Instagram, you'll find me there as well.
All right, who's next? The world's best Hollywood's healer.
yes. The thing to do is to focus, as Christine said, on your own side of the street with your own healing. And that begins with managing how you're feeling and disconnecting yourself from the narrative of doom and gloom. And from there, after getting yourself to neutral and working on finding what lights you up, what makes you feel joyful, and putting yourself in the position of an observer rather than part of the chaos, the more of us that do that, the more of us that can really affect a change. So you might think that, oh, in doing that, it means nothing. It means everything. Because when you do that, you change your frequency. The people around you, their frequencies start to change. It's a ripple effect. It's the butterfly effect. So no matter what you're doing, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a teacher, you're a stay-at-home mom, you're a high school student, in changing your frequency by pulling yourself out of the chaos, that is how we are going to truly affect change. And it's because you can't fight hate with hate. It has to be love, as Tasha said earlier today.
Yep.
And I am mainly on Instagram, but you can also find me on TikTok. I am the Upleveling Phoenix. And that means it's Miss Jessica's turn.
Were we supposed to do like a final comment?
Yeah, if you want to.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I just. The final thing I'm going to say is that know that sometimes joy can be scary. Like if you've been in fear for too long, it can actually be scary to pursue joy. So when you are seeking joy and you're moving towards unbridled bliss, know that it takes a little bit of getting used to, and that's okay. So give yourself compassion. And where people can find me is I'm at my handle on all social media is at the.rune.weaver. And primarily Insight Timer is going to be a really great way for people to connect with my music. I have presence on Instagram and YouTube, and in the works will be access through online streaming like Spotify. So those are the ways that you can connect with me and get in touch with me if you want to book private sessions or things like that. Instagram is going to be the best way to reach out.
And the parakeets say amen. So thank you so much today. I know that this can be a tough topic, right? I used to like avoid all political and craziness and like with like, hard arms. And then I realized that it's important for ascension anchors, light leaders, light workers to talk about the things that are happening right now for everyone, because when we can come from a perspective that's a more expansive perspective, we can help others. But if we're talking about these things so esoterically that people can't apply it to what they're actually experiencing right now, they're like, what does that have to do with me? And right now with my price of eggs and what everybody's talking about. You guys see that it had nothing to do with the price of eggs, right? So, but if we aren't here to say, this is what you can do, this is how you can, improve your money situation, regardless of who's in office. This is how you can still continue to share your work and also make social media a safe place for you, regardless of who's in office. And if you can, connect to your heart, your soul, and your body just by pressing play for some amazing sound healing music by the world's best sound healer. If you can't have those, like even know that those are available, then what can you do? So it is my honor. The Boujee Healed Diva is in. I say keep it bougie, stay healed, and remember that you are so freaking divine and nothing can stop you. Bye.